Good evening, guys and gals. This is SHOYO, and this will probably be my first video of playing a retro. Just recently got a capture card and thought it might be fun to record some of my my retro collection. So I'm kind of starting off here, as if you haven't noticed already, with a Super Mario game known as Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. So this RPG is kind of like no other RPG really. Not in the sense of the gameplay and the mechanics, because it's of a traditional RPG. It's kind of, in a traditional sense, an RPG. There's some things that are not traditional about it, like the battle system. And as we get through playing the game here, you'll realize that some of the mechanics are not traditional, but the overall gameplay is more like a traditional RPG. Another thing that you may not know, that not a lot of Mario games came out as sort of the traditional RPG turn-based style gameplay. And that's because during this one particular game, it was kind of like a pact between Square Enix and, at the time, the company is called Squaresoft, which later became Square Enix. But this is kind of like the pairing between the two. They let Squaresoft develop a RPG based on the classic character Mario. I guess Mario was kind of a timeless character who had many different roles, and I'm happy that he did appear in this role. This game is ridiculously fun, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it as much as I enjoy playing it. So I'm going to kind of go off a new game here. That way you guys get to see it from beginning to end. So just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and put in a generic name here. You can call your own character Mario. I'm just going to call it Show just for ease. Now the animation here looks kind of awful, but back in the day this was pretty cutting edge as far as graphics go. Right up there with the Killer Instinct graphics, which was pretty awesome at the time. Claymation was kind of the thing back then. If you've ever played not Mario Country, but Donkey Kong Country, you'll notice that they went that way too, and it happened to be one of the most beautifully made games for the Super Nintendo. Now, I am playing this on the original console, the original hard copy, so there will be no save states. There will be probably lots of failures, and lots of dying here, and I'm not cutting any of that out. Not being lazy or anything, I just kind of want to see, I kind of want you guys to see how the game's played from beginning to end, without, you know, too much editing. So, like I said, this game really isn't like traditional Mario games. If you already notice here, we're already in a turn-based battle system here. We've got the items menu, the special menu, the attack menu, and the etc. menu, which generally harbors these two options here. Now, you're kind of thinking, oh, this is just your standard Final Fantasy type gameplay. Not really. If we'll take a look here, if I just pressed attack, you notice how he just hit once, and the damage was 12. Well, this game harbors something called time attacks, and you'll find that out kind of in the tutorial stages later after this point. But if you hit the A button exactly on the right frame, you actually do more damage, and it ends up kind of looking like a double hit animation, just like that. And the same thing goes for your defensive maneuvers. So if someone hits you, you can hit A again on the correct frame, and he'll kind of do a ducking animation. Right now, I'm actually trying to do it, but I suck right now. It takes some getting used to. I have not gotten the timing yet. And each enemy has kind of a different timing. So you kind of have to just get a feel for it, for the animation, versus when the hit actually hits you. See Peach's feet up there. Dangling from the ceiling. It kind of throws you straight into the Bowser Mario fight, just like a typical Mario game. You're thinking, whoa, I'm already fighting Bowser, but this is just the beginning of the game. Well, stay tuned. You'll find out the plot thickens. Kinda. Now, traditionally here, if you don't know any better, unlike I played through this game a couple of times, but you have actually two options here to attack people. To attack, you can do the chain link or Bowser. If you're playing the game normally, and this is your first time ever, you're probably just going to hit Bowser. But eventually you'll get some information from Peach to strike the chain. See, just like that. And whenever you aim for the chain, ends the fight quicker. In fact, I don't even know if you can just waste Bowser without hitting the chain. I don't even know if that's possible. I just think eventually he just keeps hitting misses, and they just keep telling you to hit the chain. Now, if you notice here, some of these things are kind of cartoony. Yay! This should finish you. And down goes Mario's platform 2. They look both very sad. Like the end, like Mario, he's kind of like he's already compensating with the idea that he's gonna die, and Bowser, he's just still crying there, like he hasn't accepted it yet. Nope. Ah, foiled again. That's gonna be a reoccurring theme. Of course, it's a reoccurring theme throughout the series that Bowser is constantly foiled. And if you look into the star, you'll see Excalibur slowly descending from the heavens. Except this Excalibur has a face and fangs. And he's not Excalibur at all, his name is Smithy. So, as I said, it's Super Mario RPG, but the actual name of the game is Legend of the Seven Stars. I was about to say Sorrows. I don't know where I got that from. I like how he's casually thrown in the air. You know what's weird about this whole thing? Is he was thrown out of that castle at the exact angle to land in that pipe. I always found that a bit impossible. But this is a video game. Hey, Mario. Lots of people use something called a door. Oh boy. Toad is being a real smartass. to go in and out of houses. Really? There's a big pipe. What does Mario do? He uses pipes. Anyway, I come by to pick up Toadstool since she's a bit late. So in this game, they don't really call her Peach or Princess Toadstool. They just call her Toadstool. It's one of those rebranding things that they did later on in the series. This is before they just started calling her Peach. Jumping up on the bed. If you hit this little light right here, it actually makes you go to sleep. This kind of Mario's house functions as a free inn. This right here is a save block. You jump on it and you fly up into the heavens. God knows where Mario goes. And then you just kind of save the game there. And this is kind of the tutorial. Bring her back like you always do. And you'll see right here. We have to go back and then Smithy will shake it. Oh yeah, boy. Actually, he really chatters his teeth so hard that it jacks up the bridge. The Smithy gang. Now that, I don't know about you guys, but the Smithy gang, that's pretty intimidating. Like if I were to screw around with, you know, like any big time gangs like the Crips and the Bloods or the Smithy gang, I'd be the most afraid of the Smithy gang. Clearly, that is the most ferocious name ever. And here is the infamous teeth chattering. So intense that it destroys bridges made of stone. Now, if you go back in here, you just kind of look off into the distance. Jump one time. Sort of like kind of brooding, but you know you're looking right at Smithy, and Smithy is not giving a fuck over there, just chilling. Mario's like, "I'll get you, Moby Dick." You're back so soon. Did you forget something? No? Then what happened? And he's kind of reenacting this. So some of this is kind of look cartoony, but then again, back in the day, you know, we were young. This was funny. Just wonderful. We must inform the Chancellor of the Mushroom Kingdom at once. Let's go, Mario. Of course. Now, once you actually run out of this exit right here, he's going to come back out. This is kind of like the tutorial. Of course, I do, but in case you guys are ever interested in playing the game, I'll go ahead and I'll say I'll have no idea. Just so you guys know what I'm doing later on in the game. This is no speed run, so I can take my sweet time with it. Now, if you don't use it here, you can actually pocket that mushroom and use it later. But for the sake of you guys, I'm just gonna let that one go. There's plenty more to come. So this is the mechanic I was talking about, the timed hits. So you'll kind of to learn it here. So see, this is the frame that I was talking about. So here they kind of show it slowed the frame down, so you kind of get a feel. Now later on in the game, the weapons change, and so do the frames, because the animation is either faster, a little bit slower, or you have like a small delay on it. And you'll probably figure out kind of after the first small dungeon area. This is the parry. Now later on in the game, this is going to be an absolute must. If you don't parry damage, it can end your whole party really quickly. And of course, in the special strikes, it's the same way too. Some of the special strikes, it's almost a requirement to use the timed hits correctly. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. And you'll find that later on in the game. Some mushrooms, so I guess it gives you some more anyway. So this is kind of like the first dungeon. Now the idea here is, even though it may seem tedious right now, going through and fighting all these bosses, all these enemies, it's absolutely necessary. You do not want to be under-leveled at any point during the game. And it might seem a little grindy, but if you're just going through the level, you might as well just clear them out. If you don't, you'll be very sorry come some of the mouse battles later on in the game. Might as well get your level ups as soon as you freaking can. You can run into some really serious problems. Also disrupts your gameplay if you have to stop, go into another area, and grind until you're high enough level to fight the boss. Now these aerial enemies, you want to jump on them. It's really hard to hit them. You'll miss really frequently. So I mean, it's just kind of logical to jump on the flying enemies, but if you're new to this game, it might not be so obvious. Now these little boxes right here, you can actually jump while in free roam mode. If you jump and you hit a box like this, just like the blocks in old school Mario, you get items or coins, and the coins can be used for trading later on. Now you're about to see why you want to jump on these enemies and not punch them. Because none of my damage is like, even with the timed attack, it's 8. Let's go ahead and free the toad. Because I think if you free him, he gives you an item. Honey syrup. I don't remember exactly what that does. Okay, so it recovers your flower points by 10 points. So these flower points, it's kind of the way MP works in every other Final Fantasy game. And the way the MP system works, it's kind of like how the very first Final Fantasy is. Everybody's flower points are pooled into one depository. So if you heal on another character, flower points goes down for the entire party. And it may sound pretty bad, but it's actually pretty good, because if you have, some party members that have a high flower power or high flower points, you end up with high flower points for the rest of the team. Now this does have a leveling up system. You may not notice it yet. There's one. Now jumping on enemies actually gets you, grants you the ability to do a first attack. When enemies, they actively seek you and they hit you from behind, that gives them the ability to attack first. So here it is. Now this game gives you the ability to kind of allocate points that you get. Every level up you get the ability to do one of these three. For Mario, the first thing I'm going to do is his HP. His HP is 20, or was 20, and then it was 25 after his level up, and now it's 28. As a solo, like Mario is a solo character, you definitely want him to have the ability to take as much damage as he possibly can, because, I mean, there's no healing, and he's kind of a tank, or acting as tank. Flower tabs, those increase your flower points. So see, it's raising your flower points by 1. Now I have 12. It's kind of funny how it also restored my flower points on top of giving me 1 more. So you can also use those sparingly as like the honey pots or whatever they're called. The items that recover flower points. I like how he throws up a peace sign every time he kills an enemy. Starting to get near the... So this is the first actual boss of the game, even though he's really more like a mini-boss. However, if underleveled, this guy can very much wreck you. These guys. Sorry, more than one. Now see, that Valor Up, that's going to increase one of the stats, whether it be defense or attack. I think Valor Up is equated to Vitality, which means that it increases his defense. Now, this game is kind of rare. Whenever you use items in battle, it gives you the opportunity to get a freebie. Now what that freebie means is that you use that item without actually using the item. So, I basically got a free HP heal off that. Well, those are actually coins that you get at the end of the game. I mean, at the end of the battle. Getting an awesome hammer. Hammer Bros insignia. Now, weapons, they do make you a lot more powerful, but some weapons can have adverse effects whenever you equip them, like they'll have lesser accuracy. Now, the hammer specifically will just do good. But there are other weapons in the game that don't hit as frequently as either the fists or the main weapon, like a hammer or a shell or something like that. Shells, they don't hit quite as often as the hammer does, or the fist. So this is kind of the first town, and that was kind of like the first boss of the game. For the moment, this is kind of where I'm going to end up stopping the video. Seems like a pretty good place to stop, and we'll continue on with the next bit on the next edition. Now, if you guys want to see, more of this, or you guys have any, suggestions on how I can improve these videos, just let me know. And of course, if you guys like what you see and maybe you want to see more of it, just leave me a like and maybe a comment. Just let me know how I'm doing. Alright guys, this is SHOYO signing off.